special guest and our amazing community, all of you. So I see that everyone's already doing this, but please feel free to say hello in the chat. Let us know where you're joining from and what you're excited to learn about today. Would actually love to hear the why behind you signing up for this series and this session. So feel free to drop that information in the chat too. And I'm going to give a few of you a shout out. Also, I would love to hear if you've been on this health coaching in 2026 journey with us already so far. So if this is your third webinar or your second webinar in the series, let me know and I will give a few of you a shout out too. So I'm going to hop into the chat here. Oh my goodness. We have quite a global community, as all of you can see, and the comments are flying in. We have Sujatha from Washington, Catherine from Virginia. Hello. Marcella says this is their third webinar. Christy also says third webinar here. So glad that you have been here with us for the journey. Stephanie also shares that it is their third webinar. Same with Kristen. And we have Lammy from Scotland, second webinar here. Grace from Texas. Jackie shares want to learn about, check my bias about GLP-1s. That is so good. And to learn more, we have Teresa from Texas wanting to learn about GLP-1 since so many people are utilizing it. Absolutely. Absolutely. Ava says, oh, your eighth webinar. I'm so glad that you have joined us for so many webinars here. Aziza says, I missed the second webinar, which you should have. Okay, well, if anyone has been a part of this series and hasn't seen the webinars roll through in your inbox, please connect with us at support@integrativenutrition.com and we'll see what we can do for you. Catherine says, wants to learn how better to help autoimmune clients. All right. Well, this is going to be an incredible session. So I would love to connect with all of you more, but I want to make sure that we stay on time today and that I honor all of your time and that we get into our conversation. So if you missed the last few webinars in the series, I'm happy to quickly catch you up to speed. Here at IIN, we have just announced the addition of several new cutting edge topics to our health coach training program. You can see the topics listed here. All of them were added intentionally because they reflect real conversations that are happening with our clients right now. We selected them based on where the industry is headed and what we are seeing and hearing ourselves and from our coaches who are living and breathing this every day in the field. And so the new topics are oral health and whole body health. We had the webinar on that topic last week. Perimenopause and menopause. Cardiovascular disease, specifically within the context of menopause. We also are bringing into the curriculum a holistic and compassionate approach to GLP-1s and GLP-1 therapy, of course, the topic for today. And then using AI or artificial intelligence in coaching and business. Now, health coaching is evolving faster than ever, and we are committed to helping our students navigate the rapidly changing landscape of wellness through our curriculum and through our webinars such as this one. And I do see some questions popping in. Wait a minute, I'm currently a student in the health coach training program. Yes, you will get all of this content as well. And I do have more information based on when you graduated the program and what that means for you within these new topics. So today, of course, we'll be diving into GLP-1s and self-compassion with clinical nutritionist and Stanford certified compassion teacher, Jessica Brown. We'll kick off a Q&A with Jessica in just a few minutes. However, I am honored to officially introduce her to all of you. So Jessica Brown, as I said, is a Stanford certified compassion teacher, a functional medicine clinical nutritionist, and author with over 25 years of experience helping people heal physically and emotionally. With more than 10 years of specialized clinical practice in self-compassion based reparenting and mindset work, she has guided thousands toward lasting transformation. Jessica is the author of her new book, Beyond the Shot, Inner Work for Lasting Success on Weight Loss Medications, as well as The Loving Diet, which pioneered mind-body approaches for autoimmune conditions. Jessica is also, she is a visiting faculty member in our health coach training program, but also in our mindful eating course. Today, she maintains a thriving practice as a consultant to practitioners and clients nationwide and continues to influence the health community through her innovative approaches to healing. So excited for all of you to meet Jessica Brown. So, Jessica, please say hello and feel free to introduce yourself and share anything else about yourself that you'd love to with our community.
Happy to be here. Love this conversation. It's going to be a conversation a lot of people in the health world are going to be having. So, thanks for allowing me to talk about it.
Absolutely. Always a treat to learn from you. So this feels really special. All right. Well, we're going to hop into the topic of GLP-1s from this holistic perspective, a compassionate perspective. For those tuning in live right now, please feel free to drop any questions that you have for Jessica in the chat. We may not be able to get to all of them, but we're going to do our best to, weave them into the conversation or to answer them as they come through. So
Perfect.
I want to start with a little bit of level setting though, okay, Jessica, for those new to the conversation, completely new, all right?
Yeah.
What are GLP-1 medications and what are they actually designed to do in the body?
They are so GLP means glucagon like peptide 1, and it's a hormone that your gut releases after you eat. And GLP-1 medications are drugs that copy that natural hormone to help your body release insulin and slow digestion. It helps reduce appetite, regulates blood sugar, and often it leads to weight loss.
Incredible. So many GLP-1s. I've just come to learn a lot from you that they have so many effects on our physiology and the body, which is really
Yeah.
incredible. And I want to ask here because you mentioned it's a hormone. It's a hormone in our body that our body makes. Are there any things that we can do to like naturally enhance our GLP-1 hormone?
So it turns out that we can. One of the things that we're seeing is that the loss of the gut microbiome species over time have made humans less producers of their natural GLP-1.
Wow.
So, what can we do as health practitioners? Well, we can focus on things that naturally increase GLP-1, like restoring the microbiome, eating lots of polyphenols, giving your body fiber that your microbiome really likes.
Yes. Fiber. That's such an important conversation. What is it? I always forget the stat, like 9 out of 10 Americans aren't getting enough fiber, somewhere around there. Yeah. It's,
Probably more than that.
I know.
So
Yeah.
also ultra processed food is
Yeah.
contributing. And so we have really transitioned to more of an ultra processed food society. And there are side effects of that. GLP-1s were really produced to help people with type 2 diabetes and obesity. But when we look at the root cause of that, sometimes we can help shift the needle and give people lifestyle interventions like fibers and high polyphenol foods, which are the colorful fruits and vegetables that we can eat that are the preferred fuel for the microbes that really produce GLPs.
Yes, eating the rainbow. I see a nod to eating the rainbow there to help us produce natural GLP-1 synthesis. So incredible. All right. So, what are some of the biggest misconceptions that you see about GLP-1s, especially in the wellness world?
Well, I think that a lot of people think it's cheating. I think a
Yeah.
lot of people think that you're taking a medication that's going to change your natural set point. There's this idea that we're manipulating nature to make our bodies look like something that maybe they're not supposed to look like. I hear a lot of people talking about how, oh, we're going back to the 2000s mentality of the way that we see that thin is really in. And so I think those are huge misconceptions
Yeah. And
that are
to, oh, go
replacing
ahead.
healthy lifestyles too. That a
Right.
lot of people are going on the medication instead of making meaningful change in the way that they eat and live.
Right. So glad you mentioned that. And a big part of the conversation today, and you know what I hope everyone walks away with is that those changes, like healthy lifestyle changes on and off the plate, are a great complement, right, to GLP-1 therapy.
Yes,
Yeah. And
especially because Gosh, it's something like 80% of humans now produce less GLP in their guts than they used to. So
Wow.
now we're able to actually track it and say, like, well, then can we actually restore that and gain it back? And science is still working that out, but now we
Sure.
know that humans just produce less GLP.
Yes, exactly. Someone says we are what we eat and we drink. Yes. I saw a question come in before that. Just what can you say again what GLP-1 stands for?
It's
But it yeah. Yeah.
that glucagon-like peptide. And so it's taking a hormone that your body naturally produces in your gut that helps your body release insulin.
Yes, yes, absolutely. All right. So want to get into a little bit. Actually, I'm going to ask this because, and then we'll dive into some of the things around mindset and core beliefs. We have seen that GLP-1s are being used, for weight loss, certainly. And you mentioned, of course, type 2 diabetes. That's where we first saw them. That's where I first remember. I mean, years ago in my career as a dietitian, that's where I worked with patients with GLP-1 therapy. What are some other applications that GLP-1s are being used for right now?
Well, it's FDA approved now for sleep apnea. So that's a huge one. And now we're starting to see a lot of research about how it is going to be used in the future as immune modulators. And so it's something that I talk a lot about on my social media are studies that are being done because GLP-1s are actually immune modulators. We
Okay.
have GLP-1 receptor sites all over our body, and it's actually showing now that it can help modulate overactive immune systems. And that's
Wow.
really intimately tied into the disease of obesity because we know that the disease of obesity is an inflammatory chronic illness. And it's
Right.
one of the ways that GLP-1s help is it actually tamps down inflammation.
That is fascinating. So I think we're
Cool.
going to see so much is to come, and we're going to, this is not going away, right? We're going to continue to learn more and more about GLP-1 therapy. It's exciting. So now you share, of course, we talked about GLP-1s certainly impact our physiology, right?
Exactly.
But not our deepest core beliefs. And that's where a lot of your work is around. And this is so important for our coaches to hear, future health coaches. Can you unpack a little bit about what that means?
Yeah, it's such a great topic because it impacts so many people going on GLP-1 medications. So, what we believe about ourselves, what I call core beliefs, live in the unconscious. And so they're often negative. So not only are they hiding in plain view, but we usually don't realize how impactful they are. And they sort of become these unwritten laws and rules of
Yeah.
how we live life that we're not aware of. And so for many of us, they have been there for years and we've just adapted to them being there without understanding that they're dictating how we see ourselves in the world or how we see our bodies. And so medications like GLPs don't impact the subconscious or the unconscious. So millions of people are going into experiencing this really powerful medication with no support around changing the negative viewpoint that they have. And we know that especially, and people have started to look at this, people who go on GLP-1 medications have had years of body shaming, often bullying, self-hatred, shame, and they haven't had help to unpack those experiences to have the best shot possible on these powerful medications, which is why health coaches are so needed in this area, so needed.
Absolutely. Can you share more about that? How can we, and especially using self-compassion, how can health coaches bring in self-compassion to that conversation?
The cool thing is that self-compassion, which is being kind to ourselves, like kind to ourselves as we would be to a friend, is evidence-based. There's thousands of scientific studies now. And the part that I like about it is that it's a learnable skill. And for health coaches, it's a teachable skill.
Yep.
So you can learn and teach it, and it doesn't have side effects. In fact, we have so much evidence that it helps people feel better about themselves. It increases emotional resilience. The GLP-1 journey isn't going to be without the bumps in the road, just like all of our human experiences are. But self compassion is one of the things that I've been able to see that even if you're a health coach, It's not like you have to go become a licensed therapist. It's
Right.
actually a skill that you can learn and then teach your clients. And it's so evidence based that we know it helps improve body image. It helps people actually have the skills to be emotionally resilient when something hard happens to them, because there's a whole other set of fears that tend to come along on the GLP-1 journey that has shifted and changed from when you were just trying to be healthy and now you're on a GLP-1 journey. There's a lot of fears that are unique to that journey, and understanding how you can use self-compassion to combat those is so helpful.
I agree there. And, for all those tuning in, Jessica shares an amazing self-compassion framework within our course. I mean, certainly for those like clients you might have who are taking GLP-1 therapy, but also honestly, right, for anyone, right? We could all benefit from self-compassion. Do you agree?
We can. And
Yeah.
with GLP specifically, the five major health organizations have come out and put out a warning call to
Yeah.
say people on GLP-1s don't just need the medication, they need lifestyle support and emotional support. And so this is a very ripe place for people who are health coaches to be practicing and helping millions of people who need assistance.
Absolutely. I'm seeing so many questions roll in around a few things, and I want to, first highlight, there's a lot of things that health coaches can support within this area. And one thing we do know is that, yes, there can be side effects, right? That's coming up, I see, for those on GLP-1 therapy. So, wondering if you want to just chat a little bit about that, what we're seeing. Yeah.
So side effects are real. We cannot deny that.
Yeah.
And so we go in working with a licensed healthcare practitioner that can address that. And so, for instance, we know that it can cause gastroparesis. We
Yeah.
know that there is people who have had thyroid cancer in their family line should not be on these medications. And so, yes, there are side effects. It is not, we have to go in with our eyes wide open about listening and helping people who are having side effects.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's a big part of what we share in the course. It's definitely like not necessarily the role of the health coach to be like, okay, I'm going to treat these side effects, but for anyone taking GLP-1 therapy, your clients, making sure that they let their healthcare providers know and are aware of what they
And
could
we
be.
know too, somebody just said hair loss in the chat.
Mm,
Yes. So when people, and actually there have been studies around GLPs and hair loss. Some people have a genetic component to just lose more hair on a GLP. That's a very slim margin of people, but people who lose weight too quickly while they're on a GLP, that's usually why there is rapid hair loss on the medication. And we know that 90% of most people on these medications tend to develop micronutrient deficiencies. And so, as health coaches, helping people understand that and how to have a nutrient dense diet to recover that, or what kind of multivitamin to take. And so, yes,
right.
these are things that we have to start looking out for. Also, why health coaches are so perfectly poised to be the front line to help people understand these things and address them.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, there's so many. Yeah, the role of the health coach is super, super important here. Especially you mentioned the micronutrient deficiencies, protein, right? Protein intake is something to be really aware of, right?
Muscle wasting.
Yeah, fluid intake, right? Because thirst can be diminished as well. So many things to consider. Someone said something that popped up for a minute, and I wanted to address that. Do you see a lot of times? So are GLP-1s like folks on them forever, right? Or do people, have you seen kind of come on and then come off? Can you speak a little bit to that and maybe the role of the health coach, like supporting maybe clients who are transitioning off of GLP-1s? Yeah.
So there is a huge set of fears I have found just in my own clinical practice around coming off of GLPs, which
Yeah,
is um, being scared. It's,
sure.
and so self-compassion actually helps with future fears and fears that are right here in front of us. And what it
Mm,
does is it helps us not be alone while we're going through the unknown, uncharted territory of coming off of these medications. And we know now there's a huge study that came out just in the last few months that showed that people regain almost all the weight that they lost within a 2-year period of time if they come off the medications. But people who have lifestyle interventions built into their journey don't put the weight back on as quickly, and they can
Mhm.
maintain some of the metabolic health benefits. So it really sort of speaks to that issue.
Ah, that's so good. And I saw a question come through about the fears. So that was so perfect that you addressed that. And I saw another comment like, I thought health coaches don't give specific. So, yes, I do want to clarify that as well. As a health coach, right, we're not going to be like, you need X grams of protein or this amount of fiber. So, this is, the health coach's role really here is to make sure that their client is working with somebody who can support them with that, right? Whether that be a clinical nutritionist, a registered dietitian, a provider who is well versed in the nutrition that your clients may need while they're on this journey.
One of the things I'll say about this piece here, self compassion, specifically with GLP, is that self compassion does two really important things. One is it has been shown to increase emotional resilience. So
Yeah.
when something hard happens, you actually have a resilient skills that are higher if you practice self compassion. And that helps us reframe challenging circumstances. The other thing that self compassion does is what's called memory reconsolidation. And when we think back at all of the hard things that have happened to so many people going on these medications, like being bullied, self compassion helps us remember an old memory, infuse it with kindness so
Mm.
that we actually can remember things in a way that we don't put ourselves down and we don't have such a negative self perception view of ourselves. And I think that's one of the things that is not talked about. I talk about that at length in my book about
Okay.
how important that is so that we can be prepared for when the hard things happen to us.
That I needed to hear that today. That's really beautiful. Self-compassion for us all. And I cannot believe we're almost coming near the end
Yeah,
of the
let's
half
take some
hour.
questions.
Yeah. Do you want to see if there's any questions in the chat? If anyone wants to, if you did have a question before, feel free to pop it
Yeah,
back
cool.
in to float it back. Oh, there's the book. Yep, we do
That's
see the
the
question.
name of that. It's so let's see. What percentage of people that come off the drug keep off the weight for good? Um, that's still being worked out, but what we know is that over a 2 year period of time, most people tend to gain it back. And that's because it is a metabolic disease. Obesity is a metabolic disease, and diseases need medical treatment.
Right.
Let's see. Let,
Yeah, please drop your questions in.
so the other thing I'll say too is that health coaching is really the bridge that helps people develop these skills. And like I was saying, self compassion is teachable and it's learnable and teachable. And so understanding how to actually just reframe what it is that the internal messaging that we have for ourselves is so helpful no matter what we're doing in the nutrition world or the coaching world, because one of the things that we know is that humans are really hard on themselves. we're so
Yeah.
hard on ourselves we don't even realize that we're hard on ourselves. And using that reflective lens that health coaching, when we compassionately listen to our clients, is incredibly helpful. And I always like to say too that self-compassion is sort of like buffered from a lot of what we might be worried about with AI, because when we sit in as a compassionate listener to our clients, then that's an energy transference. And it's something that we can teach our clients how to develop a skill that will last them through their entire life. And 1 in 11 people are on GLP-1 medications in the United States. It's not going away, it's just getting bigger. And so most people are going to encounter somebody who has been touched by this medication or the journey of the medication.
Right, absolutely. I know so many questions. I think we're gonna, because we also want to let you all know about access to this content in the course and more about the health coach training program. Someone had asked, and I think this will be nice to leave us all with, like if there's one thing we can all do today to be more compassionate towards ourselves, what would that be? What are some things we can do? Maybe one or two. Yeah.
I always lead with, you're doing a better job than you think that you are. So I think that one is, and that to practice self compassion, you have the toolkit that's already built inside of you. So
Yeah.
it's you can learn the skill and it draws on something that you have that a well that never runs dry. That's what I call self compassion. That's already built inside of you. We just don't call upon it very much in our day to day world.
I love that. I'm going to use that today. We all have this tool inside of us. We can come back to self-compassion for ourselves, for our clients. So I hope that you each take that message with you today. And to echo someone's comment in the chat, this is a big topic for 30 minutes, and I want to honor that it is. It is. So
It's
to learn more, we want to leave you, feeling prepared with that information as well. So, again, Jessica has amazing new lectures within our health coach training program where we dive more into all of this on GLP-1s and self-compassion. And for those who are already a grad, I saw some of these comments come through. We have exciting news for you. So, graduates of our health coach training program who enrolled in cohorts from September 2023 onward, you are getting this update for free. So, stay tuned to that, as for more information as to when that will be available for you in the curriculum. And for those who graduated before this time, we also have something special for you. It's our health coach refresh collection. You can see that here on the screen. This is again for IIN graduates who enrolled in cohorts prior to September 2023. And it's essentially a curated collection of our new nutrition, functional medicine, lifestyle, coaching, and business content from the most recent updates to our health coach training program. It's available now. You can learn more with that QR code there. And I believe our team is dropping or has already dropped a link into the chat for you. Now, if you're like, Sherry, I have no idea when I graduated the health coach training program, I'm not really sure. Please feel free to send us a message, support@integrativenutrition.com, and we are happy to take care of you there. Now, for those new to IIN, wondering what's next? How do I learn more from Jessica? How do I learn more from the Institute for Integrative Nutrition? We would love to invite you to learn more about our health coach training program. I do believe we're going to share a link to download our curriculum guide, which contains so much helpful information. Oh, beautiful, right here in English or in Spanish, because our course is offered in English, also in Spanish. That will really walk you through the ins and outs of the health coach training program, who you'll learn from, the, curriculum, journey, everything that you need to know there. And if you're ready to jump in, our next class starts on February 23rd. So all of you are right on time. I think that's next Monday, if I'm correct. So now is a great time to enroll because not only will you be getting all of these incredible curriculum updates, including the lectures from Jessica Brown, we've just opened up our early enrollment application for tuition grants for $2,000 off your tuition. You will need to apply for this and connect with our admissions team for more information, and we will put that info so you can do so in the chat. However, if you're tuning in and you're like, I'm just ready to get started right away, I'm ready to start myself, you can use the code EARLYFEB. That's EARLYFEB. And I see someone says already enrolled. Yeah, so excited for you, Marcella. You are going to love it. Um, you will receive $1,800 off your tuition with code EARLYFEB. So that's $1,800 off. Again, you can do the consultation with us to apply for the tuition grant of $2,000 or use code EARLYFEB for $1,800.